Welcome back to Cityline. We are in our final fabulous segment, and with me are two individuals who are here to talk about the South Tacoma Neighborhood Council. Please join me in welcoming a very familiar face, Chelsea McElroy. You are the chair of South Tacoma Neighborhood Council, among so many other things that you do and are for the city of Tacoma. Welcome, my dear. It's good to see you.
Thank you for having us today.
Absolutely. Heidi Stevens also joins us on the comfy couch. You are the director at large for South Tacoma Neighborhood Council. Heidi, welcome to TV Tacoma.
Thank you.
Great to have both of you here. All right, let's get into it. So, you're both from the South Tacoma Neighborhood Council Board. Tell me, just briefly, and Chelsea, we'll start with you, and then Heidi, how long you each lived in South Tacoma and your involvements in the community and the neighborhood council. So, Chelsea, take it away.
I would say that I started my education career at Manitou Park Elementary School, right off 66th Street. I'm one of those kids who was at the old community center,
Yep.
you know, before they tore it down for asbestos.
Yes.
But I mean, that was my neighborhood, and those are my core memories. And then my mom and dad got a house there, walking distance from Manitou when I was 14. So that has been my home base of operations most of my life.
Wow. I mean, that is such an old memory to bring up Manitou. I haven't heard that community center mentioned in decades. Heidi, what is your involvement and how long have you been in this area of Tacoma?
Well, I've lived in South Tacoma for over 20 years, and I should say there was another Heidi on the neighborhood council, and even Chelsea would get us mixed up.
Oh no!
So I am Heidi Stevens, and I bought a house in a historic district, so I've always been interested in historic preservation of that area, and an environmentalist, social justice advocate. I went to the neighborhood council meetings for many years, and I've been a board member for a couple of years now.
I love that. So let's throw out some names like the other Heidi that we know, but also we think about Skip Vaughn. Well-known name in Tacoma, Heidi, having led the Tacoma Utilities Board for many years, but he's also involved in the South Tacoma neighborhood and was in fact instrumental in the creation of our first city's neighborhood councils. So you've got that legacy in there to keep it going. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Skip Vaughn was instrumental in creating the whole neighborhood council for the city. He and Bill Barsma, who then later became mayor.
That's right.
And Marion Weed, she was an advocate from the northeast part of Tacoma. And I'm going to just read this. So in 1992, they created the official ordinance bestowing advisory input from neighborhoods into city decisions. And that's supposed to still be in effect today. And so we're just so fortunate for Skip's knowledge and the passion he gave to South Tacoma. And he was chair of the South Tacoma Neighborhood Council for many years. In the year 2000, he was nationally awarded Neighborhood Council of the Year by Neighborhoods USA.
Wow, that is impressive. Oh my goodness. So we also, your current Neighborhood Council logo, it includes images of a historic and modern train engine. And there's a lot that you could have made for your logo based upon what we see in the South End. Why that? How did that come to be?
Well, the trains are an integral part of our history. I like to go back and say that the first people there, of course, were the Salish coastal peoples. They named the area after elk hunted there, but then early settlers actually called it Edison because they wanted to entice an electrical laboratory. They wanted to move away from the dirty wood, oil, and coal dust of those times. Instead, we got Northern Pacific railroads, and this is a picture of the railroad shops from the late 1800s. I think people are leaving shift. They seem like they're walking away there.
There's some kind of coming and going activity here.
But besides the smoke, you can also see the steam rising, and that's because they were tapping into the South Tacoma aquifer. There is an abundant groundwater supply in South Tacoma, and they needed that for their steam power. And this is an aerial shot, I believe, from the 30s or 40s. Again, you can see the steam from the railroad shops. And that used to all be wetlands that they started filling in, unfortunately. But that's why we have the old train, and now we are also the hub of the Sounder train station. So the old and new for the two train stations on our logo.
That is such a great logo. Who designed that?
I don't know.
Well, whoever designed it,
time.
Yeah.
We want to say thank you because, boy, that stands the test of time, doesn't it? So Heidi, in the spirit of Skip's visionary neighborhood action strategy, from 1999, your council has submitted an application to the city's annual code amendment. Tell me what's going on with that.
Well, that was conceived by Skip, and then it was formulated a lot by a former board member named Tim Smith. And he's another just incredible visionary. And in 2021, I compiled and submitted the proposal to the city, and we're calling it the South Tacoma Economic Green Zone. And this proposes for clean, non-polluting businesses and a zoning change away from heavy industry. We want to update the groundwater protection code and create a brand new green land use zone. And that could even be like the first of its kind in the state. And that's pretty much to be proactive to protect the aquifer and move the neighborhood into a more sustainable future. But unfortunately, concurrently, there is also a mega warehouse proposal which could kind of undo a lot of what we had been striving for. We are wanting to protect our last forest and wetland and the aquifer in the area. And this could pave over a lot of that and bring even more air pollution to an already overburdened community. So we're trying to encourage the city to see our vision.
Oh, I see that. So a number of neighborhoods were recently involved in Clean Air Day. And you've provided a short video. So set it up for us and then we're going to watch it.
Yeah, September 7th was International Clean Air Day, and there were quite a few local organizations who marked that occasion. South Tacoma has particularly high particles, especially fine particles, which can be very damaging to developing lungs and has caused illness in the areas. We just need more trees and less traffic. So a mega warehouse is kind of opposite of that, but we have a short video that 350 Tacoma has put together.
All right, let's roll that video and see what we got. My goodness, that's a powerful video. And the last part says, Speak Up Tacoma. So how do they speak up?
Well, we are trying to help them. In our area, we are so diverse. And again, it's one of the most diverse, most low-income, poor areas of the city. And people are consumed with their own lives, so it's hard for them to even have time to have a voice. So that's what we're trying to do, to get the message out to not only them, but trying to educate the whole city, because this will affect more than just South Tacoma. It will really affect, a lot of Tacoma's whole city.
And you grew up in this neighborhood, so how does that shape the character of the community?
I feel that having lived the experience of a South Tacoma child and now a South Tacoma advocate, I think it's really important that we bring people out and get them involved. I'm always advocating for people to join their neighborhood council. I don't care what part of the city you live in, but you need to get involved. It feels impossible to go to a city council meeting, but it's so easy to come down to the Star Center, come have coffee, come have tea with us, talk about what's happening in your community. We will hear it and we'll bring it back to the city council. We also have liaisons like from the city manager's office who show up. And it's really important to have our voices heard to people who are willing to listen and who can bring it back to our elected officials to make change for us.
Because you have tapped into City Manager Elizabeth Pauley, and you've had meetings where they raised questions regarding what can the city do to assist neighborhood councils. How did that go?
I will say that was one of our highest attended Zoom meetings we've ever had. It was a lot to navigate. As chair, I had the pleasure of chairing that meeting, facilitating strong conversations, and also diverting the conversation away from whatever people wanted to talk about, like, no, let's make the city manager answer to us, the constituents, what's going on. So we kind of would get lost in conversation. I'd have to bring it back, like, come on, you guys, we're talking about things that matter. We're talking about your health, your well-being, your city, and your tax dollars. So, like, ask the questions that really matter to you.
Absolutely.
It was a lot of fun.
You know, that's not a job I would want, trying to corral people in a neighborhood when they have the chance to chat with an elected official, or an appointed official. So, good job, both of you. We are sadly out of time, and we could make a whole hour on this. But thank you so much for being here today, and best of luck on keeping that land the way it needs to be.
Thank you so much for
Follow
having
us on Facebook.
There we go. Well, that wraps up another great segment of Cityline. It is always a pleasure and a privilege to be in your home. We've given you a lot of great things to think about in this past hour, so please go out there, be a part of the tapestry, and above all, pay it forward. And when you come back, as always, we'll be waiting for you right here on Cityline. Take care.
Tacoma, that's my home. Well, you're from the east end. How you're from Green Bay. How you're from Atlanta, but Tacoma's where you'll stay. Well, you're from the east end. How you're from Green Bay. How you're from Atlanta, but Tacoma's where you'll stay. Yeah, Tacoma, that's my home. From the pines to the dawn. Tacoma, that's my home, yeah. Tacoma, that's my home. Tacoma, that's my home. Place I call my own. Tacoma, that's my home, yeah. Tacoma, that's my home. Alright, you're from the East Coast. Alright, you're from the West. Alright, you're from the middle, but Tacoma's still the best. Alright, you're from the East Coast. Alright, you're from the West. Alright, you're from the middle, but Tacoma's still the best. Hey, Tacoma, that's my home. From the pines to the dawn. Tacoma, that's my home. Yeah, Tacoma, that's my home. Tacoma, that's my home. Place I call my own. Tacoma, that's my home. Yeah, Tacoma, that's my home. Tacoma, that's my home. From the pines to the dawn. Tacoma, that's my home. Yeah, Tacoma, that's my home. Tacoma, that's my home. The place I call my own. Tacoma, that's my home. Yeah, Tacoma, that's my home.
This is the City of Tacoma's 24-hour information channel, TV Tacoma. Watch us, watch Tacoma.